Hi, everybody. This is Saad for the Sad Truth. This upcoming Thursday, I'll be chatting with Dr. Jeffrey Miller, who is a well-known and well-respected evolutionary psychologist and a good friend of mine, about his latest book with Tucker Max, who is known for having written several highly popular books wherein he describes the pickup artist, and apparently he was quite a successful pickup artist himself. Now, the reason that I mentioned this in the introduction, other than to announce the fact that I'll be speaking with Jeffrey, and I'm very much looking forward to it, is that I came across something today which I briefly discussed in my chat with Joe Rogan on my last appearance this past August. We were talking about this new trend of having to draw up a consensual or consent sexual agreement on campuses, right? Where each party says, okay, I'm about to remove your bra now. Do you hereby consent to go to the next step? Which, of course, might put a damper on the sexual dynamics mood inherent to human mating. And while chatting about this, I also mentioned that all sorts of new rules that would constitute violations of consent have been produced by typically lunatics within the radical feminists and other regressive leftist types. So, for example, if the mere fact of having a high-powered male, seducing a much lower power female, that itself could be a form of non-consent, because she was so intoxicated by his true high power. And here you'll see in a second why I specifically mentioned true. In other words, he's not lying about his status. He is a high status man, and by virtue of him being a high status man, it almost makes it too difficult for her to resist him. And we discussed these types of things, part of the sort of the lunacy of the political correctness and the culture of victimhood and so on. And then I came across this site, which is absolutely fantastic. So this site goes, so sorry, I'm going to turn away from the camera so I could read it, rapebyfraud.com. Okay, so the argument here is that in the same way that there are all sorts of fraudulent practices, right? I mean, if you're setting up a business contract and somebody deceives you in a fraudulent way, well, then of course the contract is null and void. And so the argument here is that in a similar fashion, if you enter into a sexual encounter with somebody under false pretenses, well, then that should be rape. Okay, so now let's just go through here some of the instances that this person, or the exemplars that this person considers to be within the purview of rape by fraud. So here we go. Let me just read some of these. So if somebody lies about their marital status, okay, now this next one, I fully understand communicable illness, right? I mean, if you are infected with HIV and you're going around spreading it to everybody, there are actual precedents of people being prosecuted for that. That makes sense. But let's skip that one for a second. So marital status, if you lie about your religion, about your number of children you have, your employment, your education, your wealth, your family background, and other identity characteristics. So for example, if I find out that the girl that I'm going out with loves dogs, and I hate dogs, in reality I love dogs, but for the purposes of this story, I hate dogs. But I know that if I pretend that I love dogs, I'm more likely to have her like me, and then maybe I can seduce her. So lying about my loving dogs might be rape. So now, please understand that, of course, I am not condoning ever lying, right? One should be truthful, moral, and ethical in every action and every interaction that they engage in. But to the extent that we know that an inherent part of mating involves duplicity, that doesn't mean that you condone it, but it happens, it's real. Okay, so women, for example, use push-up bras. Women use high heels to create the figure of lordosis. Look it up, what that means, right? It basically elevates the angle of the buttocks by 30 degrees. That's why strippers wear high heels. Read my books, people. They wear cosmetics to accentuate certain, or to mimic certain excitatory visual cues. They lie, women lie about their weight, right? Women lie about their sexual past. Oh, me? I've never been with a man. You're only my second. I had a high school sweetheart, and then there was you, sweetie. So for any reason, right? So if you lie to me about your age, your weight, if you wear push-up bras, if you wear uh, jeans that make you have a figure that is actually false advertisement, well, you're just raping me, because then when we are intimate and gravity befalls us, well, then I've been duped, I've been deceived, I've been raped. Oh, but wait, on the site, it basically says that appearance enhancement lies don't fall under that rubric, right? There you go. So if a man were to lie about his income, he actually makes $40,000, but he says, oh, I'm a fast track to become an investment banker, and I'm also studying to be a neurosurgeon, and some woman buys that and has sex with him, that's rape. But if a woman says, look, I'm a virgin, and whatever, she's wearing all sorts of makeup to make herself look more attractive, and whatever other lies she could come up with to hook up with the gentleman in question, well, then that's perfectly fine. So rape, if a man lies, and doesn't fall under the purview of contemptible behavior if it's women lying. It's lunacy. I mean, that there could be a person that exists, that creates a website, that starts a movement to actually argue that men who lie during the process of courting women are rapists. That itself should be punishable. I mean, think about it. Somebody who spends a lot of effort wooing a woman by being generous to her, by showering her with gifts, but then it turns out that he's not very wealthy. But in the process of trying to woo her, he wanted to exhibit cues of generosity. Well, that's just pure rape. What kind of gang rapist is this guy? Right? So, I mean, it's just baffling that the moral compass of a human must be so broken that she could actually feel comfortable espousing such nonsense. And again, please remember that I'm in no way suggesting that people should go around lying to each other, but to argue that lies amount to rape is the highest form of grotesque. It is such a departure from human decency and human reasoning that it should be shamed. All right, here we go. Have a good weekend. I wasn't planning on doing a sad truth today, but I saw this nugget. I had to jump all over it. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and consider supporting through Patreon. Take care. Ciao.